One more thing. Yeah, that was all Steve Jobs back in the day. You never knew what he was going to come up next. And again, I kind of miss seeing him up there doing it. We all do. I mean, some of the devices that he has brought to life. I'm going to talk about Apple's new augmented reality, this Apple Vision Pro that has come out. Now, I got a full disclosure here. Long time shareholders of Apple, our clients, myself personally. And again, I've described this, we talked about this before in Apple's business and how they've, in essence, created an ecosystem. They get you. You get sucked into their Borg. It's kind of like Star Trek with the Borg. And it's very, very difficult to pull yourself away from that. Great business model. I don't know many people that have had an iPhone that have decided to go to Android. I don't see it. I made a decision years ago to switch from PCs to Apple for our entire business and all of our offices. I just got sick and tired of throwing out computers every couple of years. That's what you had to do. I mean, Microsoft for a period of time, their operating system was crap. And every year, for a couple of years, blue screen of death, all these problems. And going back to when Apple was running those commercials over Christmas explaining how, downloading drivers and how everything works. I have to say they haven't had many misses over the years. They really haven't. With that being said, have I bought into all of their products? No, I quite frankly, I didn't really get the iPad. In fact, Steve Jobs didn't even understand the point. Steve Jobs, what did he say about the iPad? He said that, what is this, for surfing the net when you're in the bathroom? I don't use it. I know a lot of people love it. They use it all the time. I don't. I like a regular, laptop computer, desktop computer. I like my keyboard. That's just me. The Apple Watch. I remember I got an Apple Watch as a present. One of the first ones was like 2015. Maybe 2015, I got myself an Apple Watch. I was like, it was basically, what is this, a remote control for my phone? I have no use for this. And I gave it to my son who played around with it. Now, obviously the Apple Watch has gotten much, much better, much, much better. My wife and my kid, they love it. They love it. For me, a traditional watch. It's not for me. But I can tell you, obviously use Apple products, whether it be Apple TV, whether it be my desktop, my laptop. Again, I'm not going to change from that. It would be very difficult to pull me away from that. And that's, again, one of the reasons why Apple gets the valuation that it gets right now. It's pretty expensive at this point in time. And again, over the years, we've taken profits along the way and bought back in for certain clients when the stock has come back down, constantly readjusting portfolios, but I've never wholesale, sold the stock. They're just too good. I mean, it's a $3 trillion company. Okay. With that being said, we got to get into this augmented reality set that they put together. Joanna Stern, Wall Street Journal, had a piece out. She actually got to try it out. She does a really good job. She's one of the tech writers for the Wall Street Journal, and explaining what this thing can do. And again, I'm not going to spend an hour explaining how it works. You can go online and you can see what it's capable of doing. You can watch the videos. Again, people are taking a look at the price tag, $3,500. $3,500. This thing is more expensive than the computer I'm looking at right now. And it's a brand new Mac that I just got. $3,500. The Apple itself said they only expect to sell maybe 100,000 of these things. I think they're going to release this in 2024. What does that mean? Well, again, this is a first edition product. I, for one, I'm telling you right now, I'm not buying one. I'm not going to buy one of these. To me, they look ridiculous. I know Facebook, Meta, they got their Oculus there. I think it's like $500 to $1,000. I put it on one time. One of my kids' friends had one, messed around with it a little bit, and I was like, okay, I'm done. Done. It's not for me. Okay. Again, I think it might be my Italian sensibility to some degree. I don't want to look like an idiot. I think eventually, if you can break them down and you can put them into a pair of glasses like this, and I don't look like a fool, yeah, I might mess around with that to some degree. But I'm going to be moving. I start seeing people walking around with these big ass ski goggles on their head. I'm out. I'm going to be moving to Italy or a small island in Greece somewhere. I don't want to see this. I don't think it's healthy for people to be disconnected from one another. Arthur Brooks on today. From Arthur Brooks, great writer. He actually teaches a class at Harvard now. And I'm surprised they let him in over at Harvard. He's a fairly conservative guy in regards to happiness. And human beings need interaction with others. And it's not through Zoom, and it's not through Facebook, and it's not through social media. We need this. And this desire to take this away. Again, I see where these goggles will be useful. Actually having this conversation with my son last night. I think these augmented reality glasses, I think this would be a phenomenal tool for teaching. If you want trying to be a surgeon and you could practice your craft again and again and again and again and again by using something like this, think of the value behind that for medical schools, for mechanics, fixing a car, anything where you're working with your hands, where you need practice. Wow. I mean, that's amazing stuff. But people, oh yeah, well, you can go to the Uffizi in Florence and you can look at Botticelli's paintings on the wall and you can zoom in on the brush strokes. Really? Have you ever been to the Uffizi gallery? If you haven't, I highly recommend it. You have to go in there. There's a great line from Good Will Hunting where Robin Williams is talking about Michelangelo to Will. And they said, oh yeah, you can talk about Michelangelo, but have you ever been in the Sistine Chapel? Have you ever smelled the Sistine Chapel, actually been in there? Again, I say this again, augmented reality, all this stuff. The people at Apple, as bright as they are, and the tools that they come up with, which again, I applaud. They talk about productivity tools. I mean, a lot of really great stuff out there. They're not God. They never will be. They never will be. Again, you can't do it. And you see it from time to time. You get movies out there like Avatar. There was also another movie with Robin Williams where kind of went to purgatory and then into heaven. I forget the name of it. It was an interesting film. But, they try to come up with these worlds that are supposed to be different, better, and you can't. You can't. I can go a walk. I can go through a walk here in my neighborhood in the North Shore of Long Island, and the beauty that I see that sorry, I don't want to look at that through goggles. I want to go out there and see it for myself. Again, it will be a useful tool. They just got to figure out how to go about using it. Is this going to be for gamers? I don't know. Maybe rich kids. I was thinking about it yesterday too, and I just remembered again. There was a movie in the 1980s with Richard Pryor. It was called The Toy, and it was kind of ahead of its time to some degree. But the rich dad, his son is a spoiled brat. Goes into a toy store, can get whatever he wants. He's got all of these toys, and he wants to buy the black man that was funny inside the toy store, and he throws a tantrum. And the rich guy pays off Richard Pryor to come live with his son, and hilarity ensues. But anyway, this is a pretty darn expensive toy. It needs to be a tool. I don't see, and then they were demonstrating how you got your screen here, you got your screen there. It's better than having multiple monitors up at the same time. I ain't putting a freaking pair of goggles on my head, but I'm getting old, I guess. That's not happening. It's not happening. It's to me, it's kind of creepy. But again, the technology is extraordinary. It really is. There's no doubt about it. They knocked it out of the park when it comes to the type of tech that's involved and what this thing is capable of doing. The applications, that's what's going to be key. And if I were the people over at Apple, I'd be working with medical schools. I'd be working with everything from airplane mechanics, car mechanic, whatever. You want to be a plumber, you want to be an electrician, how you can practice all of these things again and again and again and again and again. And then that $3,500 cost is nothing. If you actually think about it, it will lower the costs of education. And that's where I think that this tool would be extraordinarily valuable. As far as the action in the stock price yesterday, it's kind of, people were buying they knew it was coming out, and then, sell off when the news hit, buy the rumor, sell the news type of a situation. I don't think it's going to be a game changer for Apple anytime soon. But again, this is where I've been wrong. This is where I've been wrong in the past. I never thought the iPad would be that much of a game changer. I never thought Apple would sell as many watches as they have on the stock, but I was a little doubtful of those items. So again, I could be wrong here, but again, Apple's already said, hey, maybe 100,000 in the first year. It is what it is. Again, they are, miles ahead of everybody when it comes to this type of technology. Nobody can touch them. It's how we have to go about applying it. Again, unfortunately, sometimes tech and new things aren't used properly. And I'll end on this. I talk about social media and how much, the reality is, people, I really don't care for it. I liked its original iteration, which Mark Zuckerberg wanted. His thing was just to go out there and meet people and, sharing photos and good times and whatever it may be, and staying in contact with others. And it's, turned into, more often than not, into a hate fest. And quite frankly, that's not that healthy. And, when I walk around and I see people on their phones all the time, scrolling through social media, TikTok, Instagram, all this stuff, quite frankly, it makes me sad. It does. Anyway, WatchDog on WallStreet.com, WatchDog on WallStreet.com.